Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Family Law Assistance. So, in case you were wondering, this is a live solely about lockdown. We have had lots of DMs. We've had lots of people sort of asking about lockdown. A lot of our inquiries at the moment are coming through lockdown. So, we did the only thing that we would possibly do in a situation like this, and that is do a blog. So, I'll put the deets of the blog down below. And really kind of following up on that blog, yet more lockdown stuff. So, can you stop contact in lockdown? I'm going to level with you here, okay? Because can you stop contact? Well, listen, nobody likes to think of themselves as the bad guy. People, for example, will like to think of themselves as the good guy. So there's going to be a whole load of reasons as to why people think they can stop contact during lockdown. And listen, you could probably copy and paste any of the reasons that you see advertised on telly. So there's going to be the hygiene, or there's going to be social bubbles, or my personal favourite, we'll wait until it's safe to do so. Now, obviously, people are a little hazy as to when that happens. The government doesn't even know when that's going to happen. If we're looking at it, a worst case scenario, coronavirus is going to be with us forever. Now, it doesn't matter what your stance is on coronavirus, if it's real, if it's not real, if it's a government made over hoax. The one thing that is very real is what people are actually doing about it. So it doesn't matter where you are in the country, where you are in the world. You've pretty much got and could have a reason for stopping contact. Here's the other thing that's also pretty real, is that the likeliness that the courts are going to do anything about it are pretty slim. You know, I was doing some training last night, and one of the things that I was training about was enforcement hearings. And listen, before a global pandemic, enforcement hearings weren't particularly effective, because what the court can do and what the court actually does are two very, very different things. On the one hand, the court really has it's got a wide ambit of discretion. The court can do a whole bunch of stuff, but what actually happens is a court says, naughty parent, do not do that again. And obviously the person that I'm helping thinking, hang on a minute, I thought I was in court. What am I doing? So, Linda, good morning, Linda. Children still need consistent contact with both parents. Oh my God, I promise, guys, I have not paid her to say any of that. Linda, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So if a parent is hell-bent on stopping contact because reasons, the likeliness is that at the moment they're going to get away with it. Like I said, I was training last night on enforcement hearings, and the reality is that enforcement hearings, honestly, you think, well, why would you make an application for an enforcement hearing? Here's the thing about enforcement hearings. It's you have to make them, because it's a point showing, going, look what she's doing, look what they're doing. And you think, well, why bother doing that, right? If any of you know and have been in court, you know that the rules that you play with in family court are very different to the rules that you play with in reality. And I hate to demean it to such a level, but it's true. So enforcement applications on their own tend to be more a point-proven thing. Here's the other thing. Enough enforcement applications, and FYI, if someone's going to breach the court order once, I guarantee you they're going to be doing it again and again and again. So enough enforcement applications, you're building up a picture. Enough enforcement applications, and you're looking really at changing the status quo. Now, I personally, and this is entirely my personal belief, but I personally think that the only real enforcement is to reverse contact. So can you stop contact? Absolutely. But can you stop contact ain't the right question. Should you stop contact is probably a better question. Now, the court is littered with things like a paramountcy principle, very welfare checklist, the paramountcy principle being that the child's the child's relationship with both parents is paramount. So the court is always going to use that as the go-to. Like I said, nobody likes to think of themselves as the bad guy. And of course, a lot of people making the enforcement application are usually the non-resident parents that are trying to have a relationship with their children. So what are the government guidance? Well, actually, I suspect this is probably the only bit of this whole shit show, honestly, that's very clear. And that children should travel. So guys, if you have a court order, the government guidance in relation to children spending time with both parents is super clear, that children absolutely can travel. I can see some of you joining in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Harriet, good morning, girl. I'm just gonna, I tend to do this. Otherwise, what happens, I'll stop it and I'll just read some comments, because otherwise it scrolls up and up and I can't actually respond. And what happens with extremely vulnerable children with tier 2 no mixed household? Does that include children? Is the rule of 6 include? Oh, right, okay. Harriet, like I said, government guidance is pretty clear, okay? If you guys have a court order and you think, well, I don't think it's safe, or the court order you feel is not working, then guys, you have an opportunity to make an application to the court to change that court order. And naturally, I'm going to recommend that's what you do, rather than going, because reasons, just stopping contact. Good morning, Louise. How are you doing? How are you doing on this? Well, honestly, pretty shitty morning, actually. I was going to say it's bright and I'm looking out the window and it's absolutely clearly not that. Yeah, so Harriet, I hope that answers your question. So can you? Yeah, yes, you can, you know. And like I said, the reality of the court, sadly, doing anything about that, pretty slim. But I would always encourage people to think of the big picture. Because like if I'm helping somebody that's going through an enforcement application, which despite what I think, despite what the court actually does about it, it's still a really important application to make. So I would encourage people to think of the big picture, because like I said, if I was helping someone going through enforcement application, it does in itself, it paints a picture. If there is a court order and it's not working, guys, look, you've got an opportunity and an option open for you to change that court order, rather than just unilaterally doing it. And like I said, the one thing that is guaranteed in this shit show is that government guidance actually is really clear. I know, because when lockdown first hit, I was that person that was at like 11 o'clock making sure that I was on here doing a live, making sure that all of you knew what was what. And then somebody high up in the gods of powers decided to change the website at about, I don't know, I think it was like 20 to midnight or something ridiculous like that. So first of all, they were saying, no, children couldn't travel. Lockdown was lockdown. And we all know the devil's in the detail, don't we, guys and gals? So then, of course, I went on, I don't know, it was something ridiculous o'clock, like midnight. And I was doing a live going, no, take it down, wrong advice. Government advice has changed now. So we keep as much up to date possible so that you get the up-to-date news. Like I said, we've been flooded with people who are understandably worried about lockdown on both sides of that fence. So the people, both sides of that fence. People who, a bit like you, Harriet, that have concerns about sending children to the other parent, and people who are perhaps non-resident parents who are not getting that contact. You know, parents are just unilaterally stopping things because reasons. So guys, I hope that's really really fascinating. Listen, I will always say here on this page, there's a wealth of information here for you. You've got my face live a lot of times. Check out the blogs. There's loads of blogs and vlogs. Check out stuff on the website. There's a load of stuff here. Loads of really interesting articles for you. If you need something a little extra and you're thinking, God, I've no idea what to do, then holler, get in touch with me and we'll put together a plan for you. You know, people's anxiety goes from 5th gear to 1st gear with a plan. So guys, I hope that's been of use to you. I'll put the deets for the blog down below with lockdown. Any questions, holler at me. Harriet, thank you. You're absolutely welcome, my darling. Guys, have an amazing day. Stay safe. Over and out.